Hi first grade families, Miss Isaac here. We are going to do a little bit of an unbagging today to show you what you are going to get in your remote pickup when you come on Thursday. So just hang around with me for a few minutes as I walk you through each thing so you know what it's going to be used for. Inside you will get a blank yellow envelope that looks just like this, and it will have multiple papers inside of it, one of which will be our digital date template that you see Miss Isaac using every day, and it's in a page protector, and just keep it in here so that way it works like a dry erase board and you can just use a dry erase marker to write on it. And on this side it has our digital date, on the other side it has our days of school, so you can easily write on it. And I suggest using maybe like an old sock that's clean to erase with, and if you find that the marker maybe was left on here and it gets stuck, just using like a wet cloth or a Clorox wipe helps to be able to erase that. The other thing we have in here is a main idea sheet that again is in a page protector, and just keep them in here so that way we can reuse it. Don't take it out. That way it just works like a dry erase board. This we will normally use like in a small group time occasionally, maybe in a whole group time as well. And then on the back, it's just a story retell where they would do the first, then, next, and last. I suggest maybe putting these in a binder or just a spot that is easily accessible for your child, so that maybe a folder, so that when, if we need it during the day, that they can easily grab it and it's not hard for them. We also have an alpha box here, which we will use occasionally, where we might go through something together and they'll be looking for key words that start with different letters of the alphabet, and when they find one of those words, they will write it in here. Again, it's in a page protector, so that way they can write on it with a dry erase marker. Anytime you see something in one of these page protectors, just know that that means that they can write on it with a dry erase marker. Something else that you will see in there is a poetry notebook. We're going to start trying to do this either in small groups sometimes or in whole group, and we'll just go through different stories and do activities with it. A lot of times we'll match it up with our story, whatever our spelling pattern is this week. Like this week it's short E, so if we are focusing on that, then we will do whatever poem is short E, and we will do an activity in this with that. So having this handy each week for your child to go through will be really helpful, because we'll do an activity with it. This is not required, but I really, really encourage you to do this with your child. Even just taking a minute or two each day to try to go through these words will dramatically improve your child's reading. Our emphasis this year is really put a lot more on phonics than having a lot of guided reading groups, but this is a sight word list, and what you do is we just focus on one list at a time. So you focus on list 1 and you practice these sight words with your child. This is a sight word list. And when you think that they have that list down, you can have them tell me, and at the end of small group I can test them, and if they're able to do all the words and recognize them without any problem, then I'll say, Sam, you're good to go, and then you'll just keep going and move on to the next one. And I purposely did it so that they weren't back to back, they weren't double-sided, so that if you wanted to cut these out and do like a sight word game with them or manipulate them with your child, that you could. Just whatever works best with your family. If you find that it's just good to keep them in a list form like this, that is fine too. But I really encourage you to practice throughout this entire year of first grade of doing these sight words, because it will make a huge difference. These are words that don't really follow our spelling pattern, and so they really just have to have them memorized to be able to know them. So that's in there too. This is a very thick packet. These are just optional word work activities. Okay, these are not required. This is just something that if you find that you want something extra to do, that there are lots of different things that you can look through, things that they could cut out and manipulate and glue on, some things that will give them a chance to practice some CVC words, consonant, vowel, consonants. So just some extra little additional things, some little sight word games that you can do to practice. Again, these are optional, not required, just something else that you can have if you would like to do. All right, our next thing for our unbagging is that you will have a yellow envelope that says spelling test papers. It has been hard for some of the students to just write their spelling test in their notebook, so I have given them a whole bunch of spelling test papers that I want them to have for when we take a spelling test on Friday. And they have probably 20 papers that look just exactly like this, and then have spots to have a sentence on the back. This is what we would use if we were in person, but I just think it will be easier for the students because they will have those primary writing lines, and that way they're not trying to write in their notebook all the time, and then they can just take a picture of that on the front and on the back and submit it to Seesaw. So that's what that is. So just having this envelope ready for them so that they know on Fridays that they'll get this paper out for their spelling test. And then the last thing is that I will have a little envelope that has login cards. I wasn't able to create this initially when you got your first bag because I didn't have all the students' names yet, but you will get a little card that has the different apps that we are using, just so you have a clear spot with their username and password. Then you will also get a quick card that that way you won't have to enter their district username every time when you're logging onto ClassLink. You can just scan this card with the iPad and it'll automatically log you in. That way your child doesn't have to enter it. So those are in your login card. I also will be including a special little treat in your student's bag as well that they will get. So hope to see you there. Thanks.